Robert Heffernan with EndoTech, still from the road with the portable. I got a portable studio, and I'll be on the road for the rest of the week. It is Sunday, though. You know what we do every week is Blockchain Vitals weekly segment where I talk about that weekly fractal. And with this pullback in cryptos, these levels are incredibly important going forward here. I rely 100% on the momentum or lack thereof. And this level today is just incredibly important this week coming in. And last week it was at 30, hold on a second, it was at 3680 in Bitcoin. So right now below that level, but the important thing is that every week that momentum level is recalculated and it comes in at a different level. You know what? And without further ado, I'm going to skip the rounds again as I'm on the road here. You guys can watch the news. I'll be interested more in the beach and the surf. But I am paying attention. And so why don't we just take the vitals and talk about the weekly fractal, because that's what you need to know anyway. All right, so let's do that. Taking the vitals, we do it every day. And on the weekend segment, I talk about that weekly fractal. And this week I'm going to check in a couple more times and talk Bitcoin in particular for the YouTube crowd. Last week, as I said, Bitcoin, lower momentum, 3680. 36? No. Yeah, 3680. This week comes in at 3481. Right now, Bitcoin trading 3586. So the novice trader would say, well, we're below momentum because it was at 3680 last week. Yeah, that was last week. We got a new week. Lower momentum in Bitcoin this week comes in at 3481, a shifting target. And although we have weakness here in Bitcoin, and for sure in in lower momentum on the daily, which is 3806, have not recaptured lower momentum on the weekly. That comes in at 3481, and if we do recapture and close the week back below 3481, we got a lot of room to the downside, all right? Lower momentum collar on the weekly, 1167. So I have, I'm flat on most things. Alpha players are enjoying this short for sure, but I am not in the camp 100% thinking that yet that this meltdown is going to continue. And that we're going to revisit and make new lows. That very well could happen. But for me, the market has to retake lower momentum on the weekly, 3481. Then we got those lows, 3215. If we take that out, I think Katie bar the door and 1167 is well within target. You know, we talked before on lower levels, that $1,800 level for sure, I think would be within reach below 3,200. But that lower momentum collar on the weekly, 1167, I think is a better long-term bottom to put in if this stuff does recapture momentum to the downside. All right, so that's what I'm thinking about Bitcoin. Mind the mo, as long as we're in lower momentum on the daily, you want to stay short, but believe me, there'll be an argument here at 3481, this lower momentum on the weekly, and if we can penetrate it, build volume below 3481 and spend the week and then close the week below 3481, that's a completely different picture for me long term. And vice versa, we could go sniff it out, go trade below it for a little bit, but if we can't close the week, two different spellings, it paints a little bit of a different picture on whether we are going to put a bottom in here on this leg down. All right, so let's continue with the rest of the sheet. Goodbye to the YouTube crowd. If you want to be watching the full segment and have these weekly levels on the rest of the top 12. Oh, and by the way, a little shuffling in the market cap here as XRP now has retaken second place over Ethereum as we speak right now. These things are all moving targets, though. They're all moving targets, all right? So you got to mind the mo. All right, listen, we're going to say goodbye to the YouTube crowd and continue on with the rest of the sheet.